How much does an Alaskan cruise cost?
Let's crunch the numbers.
Hey everyone, Andy and Jenna here from A Couple Travelers, breaking down all that we spent for our Alaskan cruise, going category by category, and at the end we will tell you the total amount that we spent.
So let's dive right in. By far the most expensive part of the trip was the actual room cost. So we did a 7-night Alaska glacier cruise. We splurged on an ocean view balcony room, and the cost for that was $3,560.90.
And this was aboard Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas.
And so this is expensive, but it also includes a lot of things. It's your room for the 7 nights. Most of your food's included. There are some drinks included, like juice and water and coffee and all that kind of stuff, and some of the activities on board the ship as well.
Yep.
So lots going into that. But that is by far the biggest standalone cost.
The next bucket from our Alaska cruise budget is excursions. Now, traditionally, Alaska excursions are going to be more expensive than your typical Caribbean excursion. So we did spend a fair amount here, and we did one excursion in each of the ports that we were at for 4 excursions total.
In Ketchikan, we did the Ketchikan Highlights and Lumberjack show. For the 2 of us, that was $141.98. In Skagway, we did the Best of Skagway excursion. This one was definitely the most expensive, and for the 2 of us was $627.98. In Juneau, we did the Mendenhall Glacier, Whale Watching, and Wildlife Quest, and for 2 people that was $465.98. And then in Victoria, British Columbia, in Canada, we did the Canadian Ale Trail and City Highlights excursion, which was $253.98 for the 2 of us. We did book these excursions about 10 months out from the cruise, and by far at that point, a lot of excursions were starting to sell out, especially the really popular ones like the helicopters up to the glacier in Juneau, that kind of thing. So definitely be prepared after you book your cruise to be ready to be looking at excursions right away and securing anything that you want. Our 4 excursions came in for a grand total of $1,489.92.
The next category is what we're calling cruise extras. Now, the way cruises are typically structured in terms of how you pay for them is you will pay for your base room cruise fare, and then there's a lot of add-ons that you can get, and that's just kind of the way of the cruise industry. So we paid for a 3-night dining package. We paid for the deluxe beverage package. We've paid for the Voom Surf and Stream, which is the internet package. And then we also paid for a winter blanket. So there's a lot of other extras and incrementals that you could add to your cruise, but those were the different things that we had for our cruise specifically. Now, as we mentioned, some of your dining and food is included with the cost of your cruise fare. We wanted to take advantage of some of the specialty restaurants on board Ovation of the Seas. So the 3-night dining package got us meals at Chops Grill, Jamie's Italian, as well as Izumi, which is the Asian sushi restaurant on board of the ship.
We were very glad that we splurged on a 3-night specialty dining package, because when we ate in the main dining room, we actually found that the food was really good.
Yeah.
But the Windjammer and Solarium were mainly misses for us on this cruise. So you could definitely tell the increase in quality of food eating at specialty restaurants. So we were glad to have those 3 nights for sure.
And the cost of the 3-night dining package, that was $240.68 for those 3 meals.
For the 2 of us.
And if you know things about cruises, you've probably heard about beverage packages. So your alcohol is not included with your cruise fare, and then, you know, most other specialty beverages, if you will, beyond what we mentioned before. So the deluxe beverage package essentially covers anything that you want to drink aboard the ship up to a certain amount, which I believe is about $13 per beverage. So most of your premium liquors, your wine, your beer, your specialty coffees, your fresh pressed juices, all of that will be included in the deluxe beverage package, and that is priced out at a rate per person per day. And if you are in a cabin with multiple people over the age of 21, everybody in that cabin needs to get the deluxe beverage package.
Right, it can't be one person gets it because then they would be like getting drinks for their friends,
Right.
and it's an all or nothing kind of situation. We paid about $65 per person per day on this specific cruise, and our magic number was we needed 7 drinks a day for it to be worth it. So it's really like 6 and a 4th drink or whatever. So 7, you're starting to be in the green, and that's not 7 alcoholic beverages a day. That's a combination of alcoholic beverages, specialty coffee, water bottles, which can add up quick, and sodas, that kind of thing. So 7 was our magic number, which we did hit every single day to make it worth it. But the grand total was $1,106.56 for the 2 of us for the week.
You also have Voom Surf and Stream, so the internet package. This was priced at 1 device per day, so Jenna and I each provided access for our phones to be able to check social media, send texts, send emails. Wi-Fi aboard the ship was mostly pretty spotty. It was nice to be able to get onto cellular service in most of the Alaska ports because you are in the United States technically. Wi-Fi was mostly hit or miss, but just a good way to kind of stay connected while you're on vacation. And the total cost of that for our week's vacation was $293.86. And last but not least, you have the winter blanket. Royal Caribbean provides this as an option to purchase in your cruise planner before your vacation. So if you want to have something while you're sitting out on your balcony watching the glaciers and the mountains go by, it's nice. It has a polar bear on it, the Royal Caribbean logo. Jenna was very excited for it.
It was only $30 and I loved it. We used it on the balcony a lot, and then the stateroom attendant put it like on our bed as part of making up the bed every day. So it was very festive and themed. And my only recommendation, if you get it, which I highly recommend that you do, is to leave room in your luggage to bring it home with you because it is quite large.
So grand total for our 4 cruise extras was $1,671.09.
The next category is transportation. So for us, this was just flights and then a bunch of Lyft rides.
Yep.
So 4 flights, we flew JFK to Seattle on the way there, and on the way home, because if you follow us on social media, you'll see after our Alaskan cruise, we went to Disneyland. So we flew Seattle to Santa Ana.
Yes.
And then after the Disneyland trip, we flew LAX to JFK. So we're only, for the sake of this video, counting the East Coast to West Coast flight and then the West Coast to East Coast flight. So in total for those round trip flights, we paid $814.40. Usually we don't have to pay for flights because we have a ton of points, but we needed to on this trip. We didn't have enough, so $814. And then in terms of Lyft rides, we needed them to and from the airport, to and from the hotel to the cruise port. We took a couple in Seattle, getting around playing tourist for the day. So that definitely adds up quickly. But our grand total for all the Lyft rides we took was $445.37. So altogether for transportation, we paid $1,259.77.
And that could be more or less depending on how you structure your trip. Jenna had never been to Seattle before, so we made it a point to go to Pike Place Market and the Space Needle and kind of do some of those touristy things. But if you are just flying into the departure port before your trip, you might not have as many Lyft rides as us. The next category is food. So we talked about the food that's included with your cruise fare. We talked about the dining package. This is food that we purchased off the ship.
And alcohol.
And alcohol. So basically food and alcohol in Seattle and any of the ports of call that we went to aboard the cruise. So we basically did one thing in each of those ports of call. Again, like we mentioned, we did a lot of the touristy things in Seattle. So going to the first Starbucks, getting some donuts in Pike Place Market. We got some breakfast in Seattle. So a wide variety of things that we spend money on.
Yeah, and things like the Alaska Fish House in Ketchikan. We got lunch there. We got beers and pretzels at the Skagway Brewing Company in Skagway. Definitely something you need to factor in. You don't want to always eat on the ship. You want to take advantage of being in this really unique port. Just something to include in the budget.
So in total for those incremental food and drinks, it was $358.67.
The next category I'm calling trip prep, and it was basically things that we needed to buy that we should bring with us on an Alaskan cruise.
We prepped for months.
Months. And then we didn't end up needing it. No, that's a story for another day. This was buying things like waterproof pants, our jackets, our waterproof shoes, our waterproof gloves, binoculars, hand warmers, and biodegradable sunscreen, which was listed as like what to bring on your excursion from the excursion documents that you get. So just bought a bunch of things that we needed, and that came to $401.73.
And on the point of us not using everything that we purchased, we already have an Alaska packing video out on the channel that will go deeper into why we didn't use everything. So make sure you go check out that video and subscribe for more Alaska videos as well.
Now, before we get to the last category and then reveal the grand total of what we spent on the trip, I did want to mention that I am a travel agent, and in case you don't know, it's completely free to work with a travel agent. We earn commission from the vendors themselves. So if you're interested in going on an Alaskan cruise, I'd love to help you out. You'll pay the same price as if you go to the website and book yourself, but you'll have the expertise and the help of someone who just went and did this and can help bring some much needed guidance to your vacation planning. So I'll put my email in the video description below and feel free to reach out.
Now, the last category before we reveal the grand total is miscellaneous. So it's a number of different things that we kind of incurred over the course of the vacation, one of which being cruise gratuities. So in case you don't know, gratuities for the crew aboard a cruise ship are not included. The cruise line will bill you a preset amount per day that will be added on your portfolio at the end of the vacation. So in addition to gratuities, we bought some other things aboard the ship. We bought lanyards for the Sea Pass cards. We bought some souvenirs in the gift shops. All of that, in addition to gratuities, was put on the receipt for the ship. So in total, that was $492.54. We also stayed in Seattle for 2 nights before leaving on the cruise. And for 2 nights in the Seattle hotel, that was $820.56. We did choose to stay at a more centrally located hotel because we know we wanted to do a lot of things, again, more touristy. So that was the decision that we made, just to pay for a more expensive hotel, but you can find hotels that are on the cheaper side if you need.
And I will say this hotel was probably the nicest hotel that I've ever stayed in. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
It was called Hotel 1000.
Yeah.
We could walk to Pike Place Market into the Starbucks and everything. So the location was great. I thought the hotel was beautiful.
It was, yeah.
Worth the splurge there. The next thing is that we brought cash with us. So we took out $300 and brought that along with us just to make sure we had enough for tips and anything we needed. We basically tipped anybody at the port who handled our luggage. We tipped the housekeeping at the hotel. We tipped all the excursions that we went on. So we went on 4 excursions, but the thing to note is on several of the excursions, we had sections of the day. So we had multiple people to tip. So it was like we had one driver in the morning, we had one in the afternoon, and then we had the whale watching people, and then the tour guide. You'll need a lot more tips than you think. It's not one per excursion, really.
Yeah, and if you are taking cash out, make sure you take it out in multiple denominations. We took out a lot of 20s, and so not that we didn't want to tip somebody from just driving us from the port to, the whale watching. We probably would have done that with like a 5 or a 10 as opposed to a 20, but we like, giving back in that regard. So it was better than not tipping at all. But just keep that in mind if you are bringing cash for tips.
And we also tipped our room attendant, who was wonderful. So that took care of the rest of the $300 we had.
And a few last things in the miscellaneous category here were Space Needle tickets. Those were $84 for the 2 of us. It was another $5.50 charge for a magnet that we got in the Space Needle gift shop, and then just a few charges for some Alaska port of call souvenir stores. So $67.03 at the Alaska Shirt Company, $33.72 at the Alaska Totem Trading gift shop, and then $13.99 at the Ketchikan Mining Company, and $56.13 at the Dockside Trading Company. So in total, our miscellaneous category comes out to $1,873.47. So
all in all, the grand total of our 7-night Alaskan cruise was $10,615.53 for the 2 of us.
Big caveat for all of the different categories is, like we kind of mentioned in one of the other categories, this could be more or less depending on your vacation preferences, right? So if you're going aboard a cruise and you don't drink alcohol, then you probably are not going to get the deluxe beverage package. If you are totally okay with the main dining room every night, then you don't need the dining package. You don't need to buy souvenirs in every port. This is just how we chose to, invest in our vacation and our travels. So again, the big caveat is this is our personal experience with our Alaskan cruise budget, and depending on how you conduct your vacation, your total could be more or less.
So just looking at this and comparing it to some of the Caribbean cruises that we've done, it's definitely more expensive for an ocean view balcony room, and it's more expensive for some of the excursions, and mainly that's because the Alaska cruising season is so short. It's from May to October, but really June, July, and August are the prime times to go, which is when we went in the middle of June. And so there's a premium. So that's just something to keep in mind when going to plan your trip.
But this was well worth it. We had an amazing time on this vacation. We're going to be going to Alaska again at some point, but make sure you be on the lookout for many more Alaska videos coming out on the channel here. But that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on social media at A Couple Travelers.
And until next time, keep traveling.